Ida Yildiz was a young woman full of ambition, determination, and dreams bigger than her reality. She had spent her entire life working toward a scholarship that would allow her to study abroad, imagining a future where her talents and hard work would finally be recognized. But life has a way of testing even the most diligent hearts. Just before she was set to leave, she discovered that her scholarship had been unexpectedly cancelled, leaving her stunned, heartbroken, and unsure how to move forward. She felt the weight of a world that seemed to have turned against her. Though disappointed and frustrated, Ida refused to give up. She found solace in her aunt's flower shop, working among the vibrant blooms that reminded her that even in adversity, beauty could be found. Among roses and lilies, she poured her emotions into arranging flowers, finding moments of peace amid chaos, yet her mind remained restless, constantly seeking a solution to reclaim her dreams. It was during this period of uncertainty that Serkan Bolat entered her life. Serkan was a wealthy and successful businessman, the kind of man whose very presence commanded attention. He was known for his sharp mind, calculated decisions, and a certain aloofness that made him untouchable in the eyes of most. Yet, when Ida confronted him about the scholarship, something unexpected happened. She did not approach him with meekness or fear, but with fire in her eyes and a determination that refused to be ignored. Serkan, who was used to people bowing to his will, was intrigued. He saw in her not a desperate girl begging for help, but a spirit that mirrored his own ambition in some ways, yet completely different in others. In a twist of fate that neither of them anticipated, Serkan proposed a deal. If Ida agreed to act as his fiancée for 2 months, he would reinstate her scholarship. It was a strange, almost surreal proposition, yet it offered Ida the one thing she could not afford to lose, her future. Despite her hesitation, she agreed, setting into motion a journey that would challenge them both, a journey where pretense would slowly give way to genuine emotion. The first days of their arrangement were tense and awkward. They had to navigate a relationship that was entirely artificial on the surface, yet charged with the intensity of proximity. Every word, every glance, carried weight. At first, they clashed constantly. Ida found Serkan's arrogance frustrating, his commanding presence overwhelming, while Serkan was irritated by Ida's defiance, her refusal to be cowed, her insistence on speaking her mind. But beneath the friction, there were small moments of connection. Serkan noticed the way Ida's eyes lit up when she spoke passionately, and Ida observed the rare kindness hidden behind Serkan's stern exterior. Slowly, these glimpses of vulnerability began to chip away at the walls they had built around their hearts. As time passed, the pretense of engagement gave way to real feelings. Ida and Serkan began to see each other in new lights, appreciating qualities they had initially overlooked or misunderstood. Jealousy and pride complicated matters. When Serkan's ex-girlfriend, Selin, reappeared, Ida felt a pang of insecurity, questioning her place in his heart. Similarly, Kaan, a figure from Ida's past, forced Serkan to confront his protective instincts and the depth of his emotions. Yet, every challenge drew them closer, revealing the complexity of their connection. Their days together became a mixture of playful teasing, tender exchanges, heated arguments, and quiet moments where words were unnecessary, and yet every glance conveyed more than speech ever could. Their relationship was tested not only by external obstacles but also by their own fears and insecurities. Ida struggled to trust fully, wary of being hurt, while Serkan grappled with vulnerability, unaccustomed to revealing his deepest emotions. Yet love, as they discovered, is not born from perfection but from the courage to confront flaws, to remain present even when it is difficult, and to choose each other repeatedly, even amidst chaos. When Serkan finally confessed his love, it was a moment of revelation, a bridge connecting two hearts that had danced around each other for months. Ida responded not with hesitation but with the honesty and passion that had defined her from the start, acknowledging her own feelings and the bond that had formed between them. The journey was far from smooth. Serkan's past, his complicated family dynamics, and the pressures of his business empire introduced further challenges. His mother, Aiden, viewed Ida with skepticism, questioning her intentions and suitability. Ida faced this scrutiny with grace and patience, determined to prove that her love for Serkan was genuine, unwavering, and not swayed by wealth or status. As they navigated these familial and societal pressures, their bond deepened, each obstacle teaching them resilience and the importance of communication, trust, and empathy. Arguments arose, tears were shed, and misunderstandings tested their commitment, but ultimately, each reconciliation strengthened the foundation of their relationship, proving that love requires persistence and mutual understanding. As the months passed, their relationship was tested in ways neither had anticipated. Just when Ida thought they were finally moving toward the life they had dreamed of, Serkan's world was shaken by the devastating news of his illness. The fear of losing everything he loved consumed him, and instead of leaning on Ida, he chose to push her away. His pride and his terror convinced him that letting her go was the only way to protect her from pain. The breakup shattered Ida's heart. She carried not only the weight of her grief but also a secret: she was pregnant with Serkan's child. Ida left quietly, determined to raise her baby on her own. She poured her love into her daughter, Kiraz, who grew up surrounded by warmth, even without knowing her father. For 5 long years, Ida built a life for herself and her little girl, keeping Serkan's memory alive only in whispers and in Kiraz's smile, which mirrored his so perfectly. When fate brought them back together after those years apart, Serkan's world tilted once again. He was shocked to discover not only Ida, the love of his life, but also the existence of a daughter he had never known. The revelation was overwhelming, filling him with regret, guilt, and an ache for the lost years. Yet at the same time, it awakened in him a new kind of love, the unconditional, fierce devotion of a father. At first, trust was not easily rebuilt. Ida had learned to stand on her own, and Serkan had to prove himself, not just as a partner but as a father. Slowly, through patience, persistence, and countless small moments of tenderness, he earned his place in Kiraz's life and, once again, in Ida's heart. What once seemed irreparably broken began to heal, as love wove them back together, not the same as before, but stronger, deeper, and defined by the family they had finally become.